So, one common misconception, uh, and obviously we hear it a lot over the phone when we speak with sellers. You'll hear them say something like, "Well, I could just list it myself." Need I say more? You know, what would you identify as a great or perfect listing, and what properties would, or situations, I should say, warrant a cash offer?
I think it all depends. I think overall, cash is always a viable option. The one main reason about that is that you actually have the most. You're in the driver's seat there. You can control exactly what the amount that you're going to get, and at the same time of like maybe when you need to close. So a lot of times, like it would be like maybe a savvy homeowner who has, let's say, like a life event. For example, like someone we were working with, our client, their son is graduating college in December, and one of the reasons why they were looking to move is that they lived in the Southwest in the Vegas Valley. That's where they grew up, but they've always wanted to move more into a type of a city lifestyle. With the fluctuating home prices, he wanted to make sure that he can lock in the amount of cash that would probably be the best for his setup before he left. And at the same time, he wanted the assurance that, okay, great, I'm gonna want to get this amount, but be able to close this time, so it's right after graduation, and then I can go start my next venture, and I believe it's the Pacific Northwest in Seattle, the Portland area. One of the biggest plus of working, accepting a cash offer, or going with that, is that you know exactly what you're going to walk away with, and you can almost even set the terms of like what your COE is. Now,
Question, sorry to interject. Was his property dilapidated, or was it in any way? So most people will look at his property and think, okay, this wouldn't be good for a cash offer. This will only be good for a listing. If they're coming from a standpoint of the homeowner, right? And so would you agree with that for this
no,
property or
no,
no?
this is a very turnkey property in great condition. In the sense, it's almost moving. It's basically almost moving ready in the sense that maybe just a coat of paint and ready to rock. And that's like kind of like the beauty of this is that you're
So what was distressed about him? Like,
nothing.
okay.
Yeah, it's not a distressed property. He's just in a position that he wanted to move when he wanted to move. So it's more of a timing thing of like later on, and like knowing that he's gonna have be it locked up at this cash amount, knowing that he'll have time to move on that closing date.
So
The
you're
one
telling,
Yeah, the one thing that is like, like that's pretty much more set. When you put it on the market and you listed it with an agent, when it's listed with an agent, now you're in a position where you don't exactly know when someone can close. You have to worry about also like maybe finance falling through, or them needing a couple of extra days. So now like you're maybe, there's certain criteria you may look at what's important to you and what's not. Obviously price is one, but I know time is the currency that like no one ever can get back. And so knowing that you can just have your property sold at the price, getting the value that you want, and leave knowing when you can to set up your next steps in life, is this that peace of mind that you cannot get when you just list it on the market.
so you're telling me the property doesn't have to be, I mean, for a lack of a better phrase, jacked up in
No.
order to work for a cash offer.
No, honestly, I think it's just more about the fact that a savvy seller or a homeowner knows that for the most part, it just doesn't matter the condition of the property. The cash and the time, for the most part, is going to be the better deal all the way around than just kind of what you would say is just rolling the dice by putting it on the market. And there's so many different ways that you can spin from there, where someone can maybe not have the financing, or you can't get a buyer, or someone does see the property, but then they're going to be questioning like, oh, can you maybe do extra things to the house that you weren't anticipating? So the extra concessions. The next thing you know, the price that you listened for is just, it's not as accurate. You have to calculate the real estate agent costs, commissions, any types of concessions that the buyer may want, and all of a sudden you're now within a range of You may get what you were asking, you may not get, and there's no determination of when you can get that money.
So in a way, with listings, you're stepping out of the unknown with listings into certainty with a cash offer.
I would say 100% that is correct.